we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. Good morning to everyone, wherever you are watching from. Today is another day to look at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Nigeria to see what are the hopes that things are going to get better, that they can deliver justice. Already you are aware of what is going on right now. The Election Petition Tribunal, against all odds, has elected to reject the request by the presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party, presidential candidate of People's Democratic Party, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi, that the proceedings of the courts be transmitted live so that Nigerians can follow in earnest how the matter is going. Because like we said earlier, and many Nigerians have noted, a large percentage of Nigerians do not have confidence in the judiciary. Many had thought that transmitting the presidential election results live would have given the opportunity to the judiciary to redeem itself so that Nigerians can follow what is going on. Unfortunately, against the expectations of Nigerians, the court ruled against live broadcast of proceedings of the Presidential Petition Tribunal. Of course, we got a sign that this might be where they are heading to, when a few days before they made their ruling, the court banned the use of mobile phone, or banned the use of mobile phone, or to enter the court premises or courtroom with mobile phone. So that indeed was a signal of what was to come, and many Nigerians, perhaps that ban of mobile phone had already given sign of what they are going to do. And this now has created a lot of challenge. For example, now, you know that the media can easily manipulate whatever is coming out from the court now, because Nigerians are no longer part of it. For example, you know that there's a story now that is trending, which is fake news, that Peter Obi said that he needed 7 weeks to be able to gather 50 witnesses. That is not true. That was a lie from the pit of hell. But it was carried by Punch newspaper. But that was not what Peter Obi said. Peter Obi had to issue a statement to clarify that what his lawyer said in the courts was that it will take 7 weeks for the 50 witnesses to finish giving their witness. It will take 7 weeks for them to finish giving their witness, their presentations in court. It will take 7 weeks. Peter Obi did not say that he needed 7 weeks to gather his 50 witnesses. Now, this is what you get when the public is not carried along with the proceedings of the court. For example, if the proceedings of the court were transmitted live, Punch would not be the only newspaper to watch it or to be present when the lawyer of Peter Obi was speaking in the court. The whole world, all Nigerians, the whole world indeed, will know. So this is part of the challenges we are having in this country, because by not transmitting it live, thank you, my brother Jude, that's the problem we're going to have. Misrepresentation of fact. And you know, there's a large swath of media that has deliberately presented themselves to be against Peter Obi. So what that means is that whatever will now be coming out from these media organizations will be taken with a pinch of salt. But had it been that the tribunal allowed the live transmission of the proceeding, things like that, any newspaper that tried to misrepresent facts will see the wrath of Nigerians, because Nigerians will know, it's not what I watch the same court proceeding. Why is Punch talking like that? Why is Daily Trust talking like that? Because in that case, all Nigerians will be part of the process. But that is not, Nigerians were not given the opportunity to be part of the process, because the court or the tribunal claimed that it's not in line with Nigerian jurisprudence or judicial process to allow live transmission of the proceedings. That is where we are. But what it means is that Nigerians should know that whatever report they are receiving or reading in the newspapers have to be cross-checked with independent sources, because there are people who are out to demarcate Peter Obi and the Labour Party. So this has created opportunity for those kind of media organizations to have a field day. But there will always be the other side of the story, which I believe that the media team of Obidati Presidential Campaign Council will continue to do justice to give the side of the story of Peter Obi and Labour Party on this matter. Now, that one has been thrashed out. No live coverage. Now, another issue that also needs to be, that is very important, is coming up on Friday, when the Supreme Court is going to look at the qualification of Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the APC, and the INEC declared president-elect, and his vice president-elect, Shettima. Now, the appeal court said they don't have local standing on that. Now it's going to be, Supreme Court is going to deliver a judgment on Friday. That judgment could become a game changer. If Michael Zuckerman, who is leading that suit for the PDP, could be able to prove to the Supreme Court that while Shettima was that before Shettima was nominated as president-elect by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he had already gotten nomination for Senate in Borno State. And under the Electoral Act, that would be a violation because you cannot have two nominations at a time. So if they can prove that, perhaps that is the Supreme Court ruling that will annul the inauguration of Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because that is a Supreme Court ruling. If the Supreme Court said that they are not qualified on Friday, that they are not qualified based on this, then it means that the inauguration of Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu will be aborted on Friday, if that is the thinking or the ruling of the Supreme Court. Because by then, it means that every other matter in the courts concerning them is no longer relevant, because the Supreme Court had said that if they rule on Friday that Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Shetima are not qualified, are disqualified because of double nomination, that will be the end of the matter. The May 29 inauguration will be aborted. So that is one particular key judgment that is coming up on Friday. And I think Nigerians should pay attention to that, okay? Because it's a major issue that could stop the inauguration. If the Supreme Court rule that they are disqualified as a result of double nomination of Shetima, then that's the end of the road for Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his inauguration on May 29. Even though the Secretary to the Federal Government of Nigeria, Boss Mustafa, has said that no court can stop the inauguration of Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If the Supreme Court on Friday said that they are disqualified, it means that the votes they got was considered a useless and wasted vote. It means that they didn't participate in the election in the eyes of the law. In that case, there will be no inauguration. And then the Supreme Court will have to determine what will happen going forward. Whether there will be an application of Section 135, 1A, which states that in a situation where no presidential candidate met the requirement to be declared winner of the election, that is the requirement they are talking about is, the Constitution is talking about is the requirement of Section 134, subsection 2B, which states that in a presidential election where two or more candidates participated, okay, where two or more candidates participated, for anybody to be declared winner of the election, he must win majority of the valid votes cast. Then he must get 25% of the votes in 2/3 of the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Where no one meets this requirement, the Constitution talks about having a runoff between the first and second, or a situation where even nobody meets the requirement at all. It means in that kind of situation, Section 135, subsection 1A will apply, meaning that the government of President Muhammadu Buhari will subsist until a new president emerges who meets the requirement of Section 1.3 for subsection 2B to be sworn in. So that doesn't mean that there will be interim government. That's not interim government. What it means is that the Constitution has already taken cognizance that there will be no vacuum. Since nobody meets the requirement, if nobody meets the requirement to be declared the winner of the election, then it means that the Buhari government will subsist until a winner is declared by the courts. But what it means is that there will be no inauguration of Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu if the court on Friday will disqualify them. If the Supreme Court disqualify them, I think they will make a categorical ruling on that if they found them disqualified. Of course, many are saying that it may not happen, but whatever may be the case, that is the situation we are in respect of the law. That is the situation we are, that by Friday, the Supreme Court will make a ruling that could determine the fate of the inauguration of Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu on May 29. And that is an interesting opportunity, interesting scene for Nigerians to behold, to see what happened. But we know that whatever may be the case, Nigerians should continue to have confidence in the judiciary, that the judiciary will do justice. Even though, like stopping the live broadcast, which many people are wondering why is it necessary, that gives a lot of people concern. If they can do this, what are they trying to hide from Nigerians not to see? Because in other climes like Ghana and Kenya and many other African countries, presidential election petitions are televised live. It's not rocket science. It's just in a democratic sense, to carry people along. And it would have made it easier for people to believe the outcome of the judgment. Now, whatever the court rules now will be subject to various interpretations, because Nigerians will not be given the opportunity to participate in the proceeding, at least by watching how the evidence are presented and what are the evidence that they use. For example, in declaring Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu the winner of the election. And what are the defense that INEC will make that he declared Aswad Bola Ahmed Tinubu, knowing fully well that he didn't get 25% of the vote cast in Abuja, as was expected in Section 134, Subsection 2B, that it is compulsory because the and before FCT is believed to be conjunctive. And the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Michael Anduaka, said that is a settled matter already by the Supreme Court, that and is conjunctive. It means you must get 25% in Abuja. It is compulsory. It is mandatory. It is a must. Now, Nigerians would like to know what reason that the Supreme Court will give in saying that that's their declaration and position in 2008 has now changed, that is no longer compulsory for a candidate to get 25% in Abuja before the person could be declared winner of a presidential election. So these are some of the things that Nigerians would have loved to watch. I say now we are going to be basing our own understanding on third-party information from the ruling party and from other sources that may not be very reliable in really giving out to Nigerians the true situation of things, how it plays out. So we all should be expectant. We should not lose hope. We should give the judiciary the benefit of the doubt that it could be able to redeem itself, that despite its previous failings, it could be able to redeem itself. We know that a lot of judgments coming from the Supreme Court have given Nigerians a lot of concern, especially when you look at how people violated the Electoral Act by participating in two nomination processes, which is not allowed. And they have emerged candidates of their parties. We were talking about the Senate president who contested for president. After losing as presidential aspirant, he returned back and got the senatorial ticket of his party. The same thing applied to Godswill Akpabio, who contested for president and still went back to emerge the senatorial candidate of his party, and today he is senator-elect and has already been nominated by his party to be the Senate president for the 10th Senate of Nigeria. So these are some of the things that give people concern about the judiciary doing the right thing. But we have to give them the benefit of the doubt. We have to keep hope alive. We have to believe that they know what they are doing, that this time around, that Peter Obi and co have watertight evidence and proofs that they can present, in which the courts will have no alternative but to do justice to the case. Unfortunately, the world will not be watching all those things, because actually televising it live would have helped to put the justices on the spot so that they know that the world is watching, and then do the right thing. Already we know that some justices of Supreme Court have been punished by the Americans due to the judgment, very suspicious judgment that was allegedly given in the past. For example, we didn't know this until former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, revealed it at the book launch of a retired justice, that the justices who delivered judgment that produced Hope Uzodimma as the governor of Imo State, that when they wanted to visit United States, that they were denied visa because of the role they played in the emergence of Uzodimma as governor of Imo State, who emerged in quite very controversial circumstances from number 4th position to number 1. Okay? And at the end of the day, you can see what Imo State is passing through in terms of so many things, security and insecurity and what have you. Since that time, Imo State has not known peace. It has been one violence or the other. Okay? So those are the things that I hope and many believe will at least tell the justices to also know that the world is watching. the justices that delivered justice in favor of Hope Uzodinma, it was not televised live, but the Americans were able to understand what went on there, and they slammed visa ban on them. So that is to tell you and to tell everyone that the justices may try to do the right thing because they know that the world is watching, and do the right thing. But we believe that, and that someone like me, I believe strongly that you cannot totally write off Nigerian justice. There are a lot of men of character, men of principle, men who want the best for Nigeria in Nigeria judiciary, in the Supreme Court, and that they will do the right thing according to the law and the evidence that will be presented to them. So that is it about this issue of whether Nigerians should have confidence in the judiciary or not, whether Nigerians should have confidence in the tribunal or not. But I think, as I said, Nigerians have to keep hope alive, because that is basically what is left for Nigerians now. The judiciary is the last hope of the common man, and there is nothing left for Nigerians now except to hope on the judiciary, because there is no other place again where Nigerians have put their hope on. The INEC already has disappointed Nigerians by the shoddy election it conducted, and by its failure to follow its own processes and procedures, which it was making noise about that it's going to follow. And also, there is an important thing also that I think Nigerians should do. Nigerians should continue to play up the issue of the FCT, because it appears that a lot of Nigerians who know the facts are keeping silent. Right now, we are not hearing the voice of Mike Ngini. Mike Ngini was a former resident electoral commissioner in Akwa Ibom State. A day before the election, he warned that whoever is going to win the presidential election of tomorrow, that's February 25, that the person must get 25% of the vote cast in Abuja. I have shared that video severally to prove that INEC knows that that is the case. And I hope that the lawyers of Peter Obi has that video, because if Mike Ngini, a former resident electoral commissioner of Akwa Ibom State, should know that 25% is compulsory. It's compulsory for you to be declared president in Nigeria election. If he is aware of this, then there's no way that Mahmoud Yakubu will not know about this. I don't think that it should be acceptable that Mike Ngini, a resident electoral commissioner, knows that it is wrong. Nobody should be declared president without getting 25% in Abuja, and Mahmoud Yakubu is not aware of it. So these are the kind of things that the lawyers of P2B should gather. That video is everywhere. They should be able to play it to the Supreme Court justices. If Mike Ngini is aware of this, Mahmoud Yakubu should be aware of it. And it should be presumed that he's aware of this, but he deliberately ignored it and declared Swadhi Bola Ahmed Tinubu winner of the election. That should be a kind of presentation to convince the justices that Mahmoud Yakubu is not ignorant of the fact that Abuja FCT getting 25% in Abuja is compulsory. for anyone to be declared winner of presidential election. Now, I brought up Mike Ngini because right now Mike Ngini is not talking. He's not saying anything. But it is time for people like him to begin to talk so that the justices of the Supreme Court will be aware, that Nigerians are aware that Section 134, Subsection 2B in respect of Abuja is a must. And that also they have already passed judgment on that it is compulsory because it is conjunctive. That section that you must get 2/3 of the 36 states, you must get 25% in 2/3 of the 36 states and the federal capital territory. That is conjunctive, that it is a must. It is like after you get this, you must get this. And like Mike Ngini pointed out, it's a compulsory question that must be answered. But we need to shout it at the rooftop so that the Supreme Court will not think that Nigerians are not aware of their previous judgment on this and what the simple English language means. Getting 2/3 of the 36 states and the FCT. And we all know it. This simple English. It doesn't require much there's not a question of semantics in this matter. So, but people are silent about this, pretending as if they don't know this. Even Kaderi Ahmed, in a video that I also shared, she was emphatic that you must get 25% in FCT. She's not talking. So many other people who have been on air analyzing the election before it took place, what it requires for somebody to become president, was emphatic that 25% in Abuja is compulsory. But many of those people are no longer talking now. But there is a need for them to talk so that the Supreme Court will know, that Nigerians know what is required in Section 134, Subsection 2B, so that justice can be served. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being part of this live stream of my channel. Thank you and God bless you. And I don't take your support for what we do here for granted. God bless you and yours as we look forward to a new Nigeria in which there will be justice, fairness, and equity.